Welcome, welcome. This is Monkey Mind. Hopefully that is a Soldiers for a Love army, right? That's what we need to get into. Some more love. Uh, kill them with kindness. So you're listening to WHIV, New Orleans, 102.3 FM. We are Community Voices Radio, and we honor independent voices. This is Monkey Mind with Rob. That's myself, and I am seeing the epidemic of the monkey mind, as it always was, and it didn't really just happen. But so the show's about GBM brain cancer and living in one's moment, and the title refers to one's monkey mind, which is a Buddhist term that relates to basically the chatter that's always going on in our heads. It's a lot of ego identification too. That might have some Freudian hang-ups with some people, but that's typically your monkey too. When you have really a hang-up, that's pretty much your monkey. It's a monkey business. Yeah, so we got some weather coming, just on the for the news on the weather. So I like using Mike's Weather, and then I I supplement it with I don't know, Weather Channel Online or something like that. But it's coming pretty soon, so everybody get ready for a little bit of wind and some water. Like I said, I'd go to Mike's Weather. I think it's tomorrow sometime or tonight, I think. But it seemed like it was pretty far out there. But anyway, I didn't really stare at it like I normally do. But I am starting to move stuff at my place. So, patting the hatches. And we've got I'm going to say a West Nile outbreak at the radio station. I am getting eaten on my delicious ankles. Apparently, that's the part of meat that they like a lot. But yeah, so what else we got here? Oh yeah, we got so the brain cancer element of it. So cancer, you can look at the parallels between. Okay, I got to go back to the monkey mind thing. So the monkey mind is like your thinker. It's like that voice in your head that sometimes a lot of people I don't even notice that they have one. That you can sit back and listen to your thoughts is the reason that there's kind of an inherent duality with our consciousness. And how I kind of rationalize it is that the awareness in us that can basically listen to our thoughts and that chatter is kind of like our soul or our, I don't know, something like that, where it's more of a core, it's more your core being. Whereas then you pile things kind of on top of it with this monkey mind, this kind of awareness chatter that always wants to do something. That's why meditation is so difficult for so many people, and why being solitary, why just being busy helps so many people with mental health. Because once you stop giving that monkey something to do, it's going to turn on you, and that thing bites. And because it gets attention, it loves being right and others being wrong. Because anything to make itself feel bigger, it feeds off that. And sometimes just the easiest way is to be sad or to be a victim, I guess, is the easiest way to do it. Because it just requires you to blame others. And so much of it is just finding peace with yourself. And not looking for external sources all the time. And it's very easier said than done. That's why you kind of go easy on yourself with this experience. And you say, what the blank, or hell, what the hell. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's taking stuff so seriously all the time. It takes so much of the joy out of life. Smell the flowers, you know what I'm saying? And I know there's atrocities and horrors that are occurring, but turning hate on it and turning fight, it's not gonna make it any less hateful. and typically you're just going to create more hate. That's why I think one of these monikers on this radio station is End All Wars. And the number one war is the war with yourself and the monkey. And you kind of make peace with the monkey. The monkey, you can't help it. Your ego can't help being all pumped up, hurt, butt sore about this or that, because somebody said this or somebody did that. There's always going to be something for that monkey to latch onto. And you just don't have to say, completely identify that, hey, that I'm the monkey. You don't have to go there. I mean, you can if you want to, and most of us do, and I do too, on numerous occasions. And it also goes back to another thing about living in the moment, what I try to pump on this radio station. It's so much about giving yourself, returning to the moment right now, and really, feeling in this moment. And typically, it's pretty good. You got nothing bearing down on you. Your past isn't like on your heels. And it's also so much with depression, anxiety. It's all just ego related. It's holding on to the past. It's always trying to look to the future about, ooh, this could happen, that could happen. So you're doing just this endless, and it would be endless, and your past would be endless. You are never going to solve the issues of all the issues of the past, or solve all the scenarios of your future. You're just not. It's so much about really trying to soak in your moment right now. And I mean, I gotta say right off here too, that I am not the greatest at that. I am sometimes very butt sore and get my feelings hurt. And this COVID thing's been a real interesting with this isolation, which I've kind of sort of lived like that anyway. And a lot of it's just due to, I guess, maybe monkey fear, if I really push it out there. Monkey. But yeah, I mean, now I don't even want to watch I don't want. Not that I was really loving watching the news, but it's just too much. And then we're constantly getting bombarded with things that just aren't. And you can be like, yeah, I want to get involved and stuff and solve the problem. It's so much about just making peace. It's like a great example. I mean, I don't know the reality of it, but Gandhi. I mean, who knows? Gandhi might have been a total hypocrite for all I know. But it was like I think the metaphor for it is like peaceful. Yeah, and it's also, peaceful resistance to a large force, like going militant on the British government empire back then would have been just a no-win, I think, militarily. But making this peaceful stance, I think, shut him down. But like I said, I might have had that story right. But that is an idea I think is pretty cool. It's also something that my with sorting it back to cancer, because I like the similarities of syncing up like cancer with your ego, being like they're both sort of a parasite in your body, and not necessarily. And it's how you relate to it. Like so many, my Reiki kind of taught me that I shouldn't like fight cancer or my cancer. Because, okay, in 2000, okay, yeah, I'll finish this statement, I'll forget it. But, yeah, you shouldn't fight cancer because that forms resistance, you know what I'm saying? So fighting basically begets fighting. And it's a really cool mantra, and I think we're just losing so much of that. Like, what happened to, I don't know, like, the liberal attitude really embracing peace and love? I mean, this seems like it's gone. It seems like it's more of yeah, it's like fighting gets more fighting. It's like fascists now. It's like two fascists going against each other. And I don't know, man. It's not, and there's nothing wrong with when you gotta fight, but you gotta fight when it's a fight. You don't, yeah, and then it also is like, what are you fighting for? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you really getting at? You're just trying to get the other person. You're trying to just kill the other person, and that may be the case. Somebody might be about to harm you or harm a friend or something like that, and that equates to that. Yeah, but oh, anyway, so back to my thing. I guess it related to the cancer thing. Anyway, back in like my brief history, it'll be brief. My ego loves talking about myself. I mean, not all the time, but and it's like you gotta watch, like, some of these illnesses can be like your new ego. Hey, I'm a cancer survivor and all that kind of stuff. And I definitely fall into that category. Anyway, back in like 2014, 15, I got diagnosed. I had all these headaches and I was having seizures and stuff, and I didn't know what was going on with me. And eventually, I got an MRI, and they said I had brain cancer, and then I had to get a surgery like the next day or next couple of days or something like that over at Oshman. So it was like that quick. So I went from thinking I was getting migraines to thinking to them telling me that basically I was going to die. And that was kind of like the what do you call it? The life expectancy. When you had a GBM, brain cancer, which is like they go 1, 2, 3, 4, and each one has a name. The 4 is called glioblastoma, and that's the one that I ended up getting diagnosed with. And basically back then, 14 years ago, it had like a 6-month typical. Once you got your diagnosis, your life expectancy was like 6 months, and it was seemed pretty accurate on the other people that I met. So yeah, so that was pretty spooky, and a lot of that I always blamed on my. Oh, we'll play this other game too, because I just had a doctor's appointment, so I can get y'all's opinion. And y'all can, if y'all want, y'all can write your opinion on the Facebook thing. I'm basically Rob Owen on Facebook. If y'all want to chat, and I was trying to do this room thing, but I didn't do it again. Right, I'll have to practice at home. But I kind of forgot what we were talking about. What were we? Or what was I talking about? Right? Sorry, you don't get a chance. Well, you could if you signed on to the thing, you could chat. So yeah, so that was a real. So I got introduced to some different stuff that really helped me. Kind of the banter and babble that I do now on living in my moment. Most of it's really related. Though I always had some of this, I guess, philosophy, pretty much. But I was not articulate on really knowing that I can say I'm not that monkey. Because my monkey was really mean to me before getting brain cancer. Like on a day, and it's mean to me too now. But like I was trying to say earlier, I don't know if I did, it's like you don't start judging your monkey. It's like a lot of us just can't help the stuff that we do, and stuff that we do can be horrible. And group mentality, monkey minds love getting in groups, and when they get in groups, they can do the just most horrible things. It like equates at a certain moral compass, and it just wants to associate with the bigger, making itself bigger. And what better way than associate with a big group? And it gets into this a bunch of mean monkeys biting at stuff typically. Yeah, so it's really something to watch. It's and I think it's really on display. Yeah, I mean, monkeys and just our ignorance, I think too, our association with our monkey is really on display now. Because it's like, really, what are you trying to do? You know, like a lot of some people with this protests are just, I don't know. I mean, some of them clearly are trying to overthrow the government, and that could be your jam. That's what you want to do. I guess in a way it's a free country, but there are laws, but laws are made to change. But yeah, I just think it's hurting people and just being ugly is just kind of not cool. It's gross, and it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. You should be able to speak your mind and really triumph that. And don't go out ugly. It's joy, ease, and lightness. If you're not living in a state of joy, ease, and you can do, I'm going to say near anything and have that mentality of joy, ease, and lightness. So you could be in a bloody fight saving your kid from some psycho or something, just beating the heck out of it, but your joy in your moment, joy in your, existence, you know what I'm saying? Joy, ease, and lightness. And then sharing that with others. Yeah, I think it's really goes back to that, and yeah, just realize if you're like addicted to hate, hating on others, making fun of others, it makes you feel like you're always kind of going to that, like you're ridiculing, you're always finding fault in someone else. It makes you right and them wrong because you're better. It makes your monkey happy, and but yeah, it's just really just start practicing it, and don't be hard on yourself if you are kind of so mad and you can't seem to stop it. Yeah, it's just about returning to your moment. It's like this, get on this like little kind of loop of making peace with where you're at and being grateful for what is. Yeah, even if you're going at change and stuff, be grateful for what is. Yeah, keep looping on that. I've been kind of like, yeah, no, I guess I've been a little on the I guess lonely side. I don't have any real playmates, and I guess maybe that's my ego creating that. And sometimes it's pretty cool, but I don't know. A lot of times it's like a drag. But it's a lot of arrogance and egotistical stuff on my part. But yeah. And I keep getting on the fetish of wanting to travel, Like, and it goes back to doing stuff. That's like why the monkeys have gotten so unsettled, is a lot of them don't have stuff to do, and that makes every monkey nervous, very nervous. The monkey can't like that. Monkey wants something to do. Like where I got monkey mind, the term, was from Buddhism. And they have this pretty cool YouTube video of this Buddhist monk where he's like, oh man, I have the hardest time. It was just being real honest, and he was all, dressed up in his regalia. And he's like, I have the hardest time meditating. And because my monkey just always wants something to do. Like it just thinks, meditating is boring, being quiet. Still, like notice too how much we bombard ourselves in this culture with noise. Like even me, I'm in here right now and I played like a background music just to keep my monkey a little bit more entertained. So this Buddhist, so it's a Buddhist term for like the chatter, and it might even be, I haven't really read on with the duality thing if they're into that as well, but it would kind of sync up with that, but I don't really know. But anyway, so this Buddhist monk is like, he's working on meditating. He's having a really hard time with it because of his chatter in his head. The monkey, his consciousness, his ego always wants something to focus on or think about or do, and just sitting there being still and trying to be quiet and embracing like stillness and quiet. It just drives the monkey, just gets kind of crazy and just starts talking, babbling, and all kind of stuff. So the guy can't meditate. So anyway, what his trick was is he would ask his monkey, his mind, his thoughts. He would say, "Am I breathing?" Monkey mind. And it was I think he approached it, of course, as a very honest question, and engaged that thought, and that required then the monkey to think about the breathing and to listen to its breath. And that provided the Buddhist monk with a 1-2 second stillness. And he would repeat that, I think. But you don't go there yet. You just stay in that moment. See, that's where the part I think we start then doing the next step. Let's go, I want to meditate every day for 30 minutes. Well, you're going to meditate not for 30. You're going to meditate in your moment. You know what I'm saying? Like on that, it goes back to that moment. Everything is about your moment, and it's about And when we falter, it's like not acknowledging our moment, it's not embracing our moment, and it's not making peace with it. That doesn't mean you can't change things. It's like it's supposed to be the little three step is supposed to be like, well, this is all the stuff that I've gathered, I've stolen from other people. But it was basically like, if you're around something you don't like, something, change it. You can't change it, then you get away from it. If you can't get away from it, then you gotta make peace with it. And it doesn't mean that you gotta, keep I guess the analogy is the truck in the road. You can keep trying, but kind of make peace. Okay, I'm stuck in the road. I couldn't get it the first time. I might try it the second time. I can't just leave. I don't want to just leave my truck, but I guess eventually you would. But yeah, so it's like, it's like, it's like, say, what the, I can't do it. You could go back again and try again. Call it AAA. You could do some other stuff, but you gotta make peace, kind of with what the situation is, and be grateful. I mean, not for the specifics of something that's messed up, but be grateful for your moment and for here, because this is all your story, and making peace with it and enjoying it and finding the joy in it. And it's a beautiful thing, typically. It's a beautiful, the drama of our interaction sometimes can be very tragic, but it can be there's a lot of beauty in some of the tragedy. I mean, all you have to do is look at the animal kingdom to see, things is where it's, that seems so messed up and cruel. But I mean, it's just kind of nature. Yeah, so it's, I mean, I think it's really kind of, because that's how you kind of wrap your head around things that I left my own room. Okay. Alright, whatever. So anyway, my chat just went away. I don't know how to join the thing. I got to practice that at home. But I did that one time on here. It was pretty cool. Talked a lot about, we had a guest on this show about his experience with cancer. He did like a lot of holistic stuff, like a ton of vitamins and so forth, and saw a major reduction of his. Did I even finish my thing? I don't think I did. Anyway, I got diagnosed with GBM. Yeah, I think I said that. 2014. And then it's like after like maybe a year or two of treatments, I did like, radiation, all like the chemo, temozolomide, surgeries. So they took out like if I sound scattered, they took out a pretty good chunk of my right frontal lobe, but I wasn't using it. I really wasn't. I didn't even have it. I need it. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, okay, that was what I think I got on that tangent. I had so much negative speak, I almost thought I gave myself brain cancer. My doctor says that's crazy. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna ask y'all in a few, because I got on my notes here. I'm gonna give y'all my my synopsis, and y'all can ponder it with me. Y'all can play doctor. Ooh, I like that. Play doctor. And this was gonna be the petting zoo today. Petting the ooh, I just got an energy warning, potential tropical storm. This storm has a very unusual name too. What is it, like Crystal or something? I forget. But what the heck were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about my brain cancer. Anyway, so yeah, so off the kick of that, man, it really kind of jacked me up. I had like a little bit of paralysis at one time. It was pretty brief. And it was like, that does that kind of brain thing. So my right frontal lobe, I had it on my whole left side. And I was having lots of seizures and stuff like that, the Epi-Mall or something like that. I don't know, I'm big on names and stuff. I always like that when I wrote my stories too, the last thing I would think about would be a name. That was like almost irrelevant. And thus, I'm trying to get better on knowing people's names, because that's kind of nice. But I don't put much precedent on my name. Like, Rob is technically my nickname. So, yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it. It's all ego, self-centered stuff. Which I definitely... Anyway, so I was thinking prior to... Like I was telling y'all, I was talking about that. Like I had so much negative speak in my head prior to getting diagnosed with brain cancer. That it was almost... I'm not going to say it was, but it was almost relief to hear that. because I felt like I didn't know what the hell was going on. And prior to getting the MRI, I was trying to get on antidepressants because I was very, very depressed, I would say. And that just lowers, and I was thinking just lowered my immune system, you know what I'm saying? And I was like doing an art analogy where I had such a bad thought that it caused cancer. I was kind of like that one. And yeah, and it's like I gotta remind myself all the time just to be happy and joyful and find the bliss in everything, you know. It's out there, and it really is. Even when you're alone, nobody wants to play with you, and or nobody can play with you. They can't come outside. They gotta do homework. Come out. Remember going to people's porches, kids? They'll come out to play. I feel like that nowadays, but I don't know who to ask. I don't know who to ask. And that's the other thing, is like who you want to play with, right? All ego-ish stuff. Oh, it's a crazy thing. But yeah. Oh, I saw one of my notes here. Is don't try to be right. That's a cool one. I noticed that too. It's like that. That's so kind of egoic. Like we should want to know information or to hear more. Or but then I guess if you are, I guess, preaching things or trying to do things that are righteous or in the proper cause, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I just kind of been feeling lately like I've been spinning my wheels, but I haven't really been soaking in the moment, and it's just going to be me in the moment. Like if I travel or something, it's going to be me, the same thing. I'll be like, okay, so I've seen this. It's like, what is it, the National Lampoon when they go see the Grand Canyon. They're like, okay, we've done this. That's good monkey talk right there. Looking at the abyss and just having the attention span of a gnat. Yeah, I'm not into the flies and the, yeah, I don't know, man. There's too many of the damn flies. But I gotta make peace with it. Make peace. And gnats. But, I was thinking of like my home, if I get kind of messy, I don't know, and cooking, I don't know, something. We got a lot of flies, but it's all beautiful, all beautiful. So anyway, I'll go to this. All right, so back to the cancer part, because it's such a good analogy for monkey mind stuff. And I don't know about these doctors, man. And I hope my doctor's not listening, because I want to talk about it. But I got two that are specifically related to this cancer thing. Maybe it's cancer, I don't know. It's a suspect area over my brainstem now, which is part of the thing we're going to get to. Okay, so I think we resolved. So anyway, the GBM, I had multiple brain surgeries. I did this really kind of crazy chemotherapy treatment, and my dad, who I don't really, we kind of broke up. I'll say that. I think it was a mutual breakup, and it's just like that whole negative thing. Like if you can't change something, it's unhealthy, then you get away from it. I tried to change it. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I mean, some people just, and it's about embracing your monkey. And I'm not saying I'm not embracing mine too. It's like some monkeys, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, regardless, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, we're talking about the cancer. Oh, doctors. I think we're talking about doctors. Anyway, okay, so 14 years ago, I did a bunch of, I was telling you about the chemo that I did. I did a weird chemo. It was a real new one. They hadn't been doing much. It was a Avastin in combo. This is I think the unusual part. In combo, and I think they called it even a cocktail. So I was like, yeah, I'll have a cocktail. It was Avastin and CPT-11. And this got me on my father tangent. He was kind of with me. He's basically a doctor too. He's like a biochemist. Anyway, he told me that I was on it for a year. And he also, I think, said that, but my dad kind of embellishes things a lot, so I don't know how true this stuff is. And that's part of our monkey mind dilemma. But anyway, so it was it a year? He said I was on it for a year, and he said it was like 500 people were on it, and I was the only one. I don't know how true that is. But in my waiting room where I took the chemo over at West Jeff, I might have been. and I cheated to do it. They were not allowing people to get sick, so I had to hide that because I got sick too. But I looked a fair amount younger than almost all the people in the room. But I just looked. I mean, I look young. I'm 51 now, and I don't look it. But everybody says that. Don't they? Oh, I don't look it. You might look at me and say, "You look 60." But I certainly don't act it. Well, maybe sometimes I do. I moan and I groan. What were we talking about? Okay, we were talking about doing the chemo. Okay, that was the unusual thing. Apparently. Okay, like I said, I cheated to get through it. I hid being sick from my doctor. I had a trash can I hid under my bed. I'd slide it over, not bed, but a chair. It's like a recliner chairs, and then they wheel out these really, and I'm going to say they're kind of gross, but I should be loving of chemo, as my Reiki tells me to. Thank you, chemo, for the blessings, for your toxicity, for poisoning me. But, yeah, so they would wheel out, these bags, and it's like this yellow, it looked kind of very, like, unhealthy urine, basically. And they would just stick you in the arm, and they had a really hard time sticking me. I guess I'm kind of on the skinny side, and the nurses would almost fight with me. And they wanted to put, like, a port in me, and I was like, I don't want that. You put it in my arm, and you get the special. They have at every hospital, they have, like, the Rockstar injector. If they have it, they stick you a couple of times, you say, you had your shot at the dart table here. This is my arm, this doesn't feel good. You need to bring in the special man. Y'all remember that in New Orleans, the special man? You gotta go see the special man. So, yeah, so anyway, okay, so then I note that to what I think was different from my protocol. Like, why did I survive? There are very, very few GBM people that have gone 14 years from diagnosis, or 15, I guess. But yeah. So yeah, I'm grateful, but you should be grateful anyway. And it's like, they were always doing the thing with me, like, oh, you got saved for a reason. It's like, what? Come up with a good reason and email that to me. And I think it came down to just noticing one's moment. Like, it took out a lot of my drive of even really, I don't know, like with the art, because I was really big into that. And so I had a lot of ego, like, I want to get that done, I want to do that, make money, and blah, 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 and make a good show and all this. And I might still get some of that, but it's not really where it's at. Because it's like, usually you can find yourself where you have these big goals, and then you achieve them, and then you're like, it's like, this ain't really all that. And it really comes down with being, peace of mind. And it doesn't mean you don't try and achieve stuff, go for it. But it's also about so much bringing it back while you're doing that. The analogy is really, embracing your moment. It's like, don't get so preoccupied with the destination that you it's all about the journey. I mean, you're not going anywhere. It's just a journey. And I want to say it, but some people get mad at me. Gypsy. I love the gypsy. I like the word. I think it's a pretty word. I don't take it as a negative. Some people do. Some people do. But hey, because I got a little caravan. Anyway, that's kind of my dream thing would be kind of, I don't know, just cruising around. I mean, ideally it'd be fun to have it someone to go with, but I mean, it's pretty tough. And I've done a little bit of that. And it definitely turns into a marriage. Not that there's anything wrong with marriage, but it's kind of what you make it. I mean, you really have to, kind of really accept the other person and find more peace. And it's, I don't know, it's a lot of ego. It's monkey stuff. Monkey. Anyway, going back to this question. So, after, let's say, that chemo that I was talking about, it showed my tumor is being stagnant, and they look at it on MRIs, and basically they're different kind of contrast, but I think the general thing is that your tumor, cancer, and tumors, I think, I'm pretty sure both of them, because there's some are cancerous and some aren't. It's like malignant, I think is the word, but that word always kind of confused me. But I think that means it's cancer. Anyways, cancerous and non-cancerous tumors. I want to say both tumors show up, but I might be wrong, as white on the contrast. So you see your brain, it's got, all the, like a, black and white photograph, basically. They got another one that's in color, but that's called I think it's like a CT or something like that. But anyway, so the MRI typically shows you, it's like a black and white photograph, and you can see where it's like that white kind of wispy thing, and it's almost like little hairs or something. That's like the cancer, and that can also be scar tissue. One of the problems is that with looking at MRIs, as I understand it, is that cancers look the same as scar tissue. Like in my case, so if you were to look now at my right frontal lobe, it has like this squiggly thing where basically this multiple surgeons removed my brain tissue and they left like a space, and that basically I think just fills up with like brain fluid. But it's still like a space there. And then all around that squiggly thing, which is, I always said it was a kiwi, but it really isn't. It's like a really fat kind of, almost like an S, but it doesn't really curve that hard. Like it's got that little wiggle in the middle of it. But and I never really liked looking at the thing. It always kind of made me a little melancholy. Because I was like, I'm broke. They broke me. Or I broke myself, I guess. But what was that? Anyway, I get kind of loopy on stuff. I forget my train. It used to be so bad I could barely speak, but yeah, it was very tough to say. I couldn't have done anything remotely like this some years back, and it took a lot of healing. But I was kind of doing that, what I tell y'all here, like that whole patience thing. I just really, because being hard on yourself just doesn't, it's just not a good thing. You can motivate yourself, but being negative to yourself or talking down to yourself or anybody else is just not cool. Not cool at all. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy for you as just, think of your monkey even. It's not good. Not good for us monkeys. So anyway, the analogy was okay, 14 years, okay, no. So after they were looking at my MRIs, it just looked very stagnant there, right front. Like previous to that, there were changes. Like when I was at, before doing that other chemo cocktail that I told you about, I was in another place and I did radiation, and then they did an MRI. That was over in MD Anderson, and then they did the following scan on it, and they were just like, man, the tumor got bigger, it got more dense. The guy's like, I think you don't have long to live. This thing's just gonna start destroying your motor skills, your cognitive function, and all that kind of stuff. So then I flew back to do this special protocol, that cocktail I was telling you about, which just ironically was back at West Jefferson, so back in the city. So anyway, so after I finished that, they did MRIs, and they were seeing no changes in the brain after, like, I don't know, months or something, like month after month. They were seeing the same thing, MRIs, and then they did a CT scan, which then it showed like blood flow, and so it was having that area that I was telling you about, the squiggly thing, the hole with the wispy stuff all around it, which could have been, I guess, cancer, but it wasn't changing, it wasn't growing. So it was like scar tissue. Because it didn't move anything and it wasn't getting any blood. So that whole area was getting no blood on that CT scan that it does the blood flow in your brain. So his basically prognosis was that it was stagnant or something. Yeah, I think that's the word they use. Like the doctor just used the same word to me. I'm kind of blanking up. It's basically like that. It's like, no change. I'm pretty sure it was stagnant that he used, because he just used that on me. But like I said, I don't know about these doctors. And even that other doctor that I had before, I mean, everyone was like, yeah. But he wasn't really doing anything. I mean, there are basic protocols that are out there, and basically it's like a recipe. You're just, okay, I give you this chemo. The notes say I'm supposed to give it to you for X number of days. And yeah, and then I'm looking at the scan. It's like it ain't rock. I mean, I don't even know if rocket science is rocket science. I really don't. But Yeah, I didn't see a lot of that, the magic in it. With the I just liked the doctor because he had a good bedside manner, and yeah, it didn't seem like he was doing or saying anything that I definitely agreed with. And like I said, he had a good healing kind of bedside manner that made me feel good. Definitely been around some doctors that you're just like, you're thinking, man, you should not be a doctor. You shouldn't be, and you shouldn't be a nurse. Some of these people, you're kind of missing the point. But that being said, I've met some wonderful people. Just being around them in the medical profession, it makes you feel better. And I always wanted to gravitate more towards that. Now, granted, if somebody's just the rock star of saving people, then yeah, sign me up if they're a jerk. Like even the guy at MD Anderson, he was not a jerk, but he was always giving me, and I adored the guy, but he was giving me always like the worst prognosis for my general health. Like the tumor was worse than it was. Like when I first met him, it was just like, this is not good. You know, I was being really honest with me, based on, you know, on case history, that what he was seeing. So anyway, like I said, joy, ease, and lightness. Joy, ease, and lightness, y'all. Don't hate that. And don't hate your monkey, man. Monkey can't help it. So anyway, so back to this prognosis thing. I was going to get y'all's opinion, but nobody's writing in here, so I'm not going to get any. Anyway, but I'll ask the bliss. So anyway, this recent thing, so 7 months ago, so let's say 14 years ago, I've been doing MRIs every year. They're showing no kind of visible detection. Like GBMs have a tendency basically to take you out. So it's really rare to dodge that cancer. And reoccurrences are kind of common. And I just was, like some of the stuff you hear for the first time, you're like, okay. Basically, I may have lost it, but a GBM, typically what does reoccur is then another 4, right off the bat. It's like a 4. It doesn't typically, like I got 2 doctors that are kind of theorizing, I think basically, and on the same page that this is a 1 or a 2. So anyway, I just got 7 months ago, I got another MRI, and it showed a suspect area, you know, that white kind of stuff I was telling you about, the cloudy kind of thing, over my brainstem. And the brainstem, unlike the right frontal lobe, you don't want to go in there and biopsy, like drill into it and take a tissue sample, just because it can really mess you up. And not that the right frontal can't too, but it's much more suspect to go around your brainstem. Not that you can't do it, but so yeah, so anyway, so then they passed the buck. I was doing, it was so funny. When the first doctor that saw it or noted it, they passed me to the next doctor. And the next, I think they passed me like 4 times until finally they got me to the special man. And he's really cool. But he is more of a surgeon. And I think the niche on this is more, like I said, it's more of an oncology thing. It's the drugs that hit you up with this. Unless it gets so suspect, we got it, because it's gonna take out the host. So let's go in there and get it. I think they go in there and do it. But yeah. So part of the I guess some of the theory seeing this on, like I told you, like tumors, like one, it's not as dense. So I assume then the whiteness of it is not as white. So that's how they could maybe kind of articulate, okay, this isn't a 4. Because we're not seeing this high contrast, bright white. And then there's the tendency that if treatments worked one time, they would theoretically work a second time. And then there's also the fact that they don't really see the channel that it took. That doesn't mean that there wasn't you know what I'm saying? You know how your brain is all squiggly and all that kind of stuff? You know, typically these cancers, why they call it cancers, is they got legs, so it reaches out like it can spider, meander around areas and spread. And so they did not through MRI see the trail. And I think these 2 areas are pretty far apart. I am not really. I guess I know where the brain. So that is pretty far apart. Right frontal from your brainstem is a pretty good little journey. But yeah, so I'm zoning out now. But yeah. So I was kind of hoping. I don't want to get too cocky and stuff because I do that thing now where I think something's gonna happen and it doesn't seem to happen. But I was just kind of hoping that this might be just scar tissue that happens to be on my brainstem. And I did ask him. He's kind of not thinking it. But I've been on like this dang chemo now for like a bloody. I mean, it's gonna be like 8 months. I think it's 8 months, man. It's kind of a drag. I do it like 5 days. Like I'm technically on it now, but now my white blood cell count is so low. They couldn't give it to me. So I got to do blood work on Monday to see if I can pass the test to do more chemo. But anyway, he's seeing no changes in this thing. That doesn't mean that this temozolomide that I'm taking isn't keeping this in check. So that's why I just keep on. You know, like if it ain't getting bigger or denser or the contrast isn't changing, then stay on it. The other thing that I was thinking, and this is what I was going to ask you guys, what do y'all think? I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards this, but I'm staying very open-ended that whatever it's going to throw at me, I'm ready. I'm not thinking the coast is clear or nothing like that. Because I ain't getting out of here alive. I know that one. But, and that's such a good little, you know, like a little practice. But anyway, the question was this, is like, way back when, clearly that right frontal lobe area hadn't changed in 14 years, so that looks pretty set. Though, I guess my structure is prone to that, maybe? I don't know. I don't need to put that out there to the universe, because it's not. It's like little mantras there. But, yeah, I mean, like that, so my whole brain got saturated by that cocktail way back when. And the doc, I called him out on this. I made him say it, but I do it in a nice way. I don't like to make my doctors too nervous if I jam on them or challenge them or something like that. I'm not really into that. The fighting begets fighting thing. I like to keep them all pieced out, and but I also I don't want to listen to bullshit either. I mean, it's bull, poo poo. So what was I saying? Anyway, so I was kind of thinking maybe this is long-term scar tissue, and that's what yeah. So I asked him, can you have scar tissue really drawn out time periods, or does it need to be super close or very close to the actual injury date? And he said, and this is the first time I'd heard it, that yes, you can have extended periods where scar tissue, comes up. So I hadn't really heard that before. So I'm kind of thinking, if I was the doctor or playing one on TV, I would maybe, but then again, you want to, I guess, hedge your bets, but it seems like it's scar tissue. And what I didn't tell y'all before is way back in that 7 months, I was having a lot of vertigo, and I'm not having that anymore. So that could kind of lead towards maybe the suspect that maybe it is a 1 or a 2. Though he said it is really, really, really rare. Ooh, I did an extra really there to drive that home. To have a 1 or a 2 after a 4. He said that's rare. He hadn't seen that. So I don't know, man. My brain's just weird. But yeah, but I think it's a really good analogy about, like the duration of our little time here. And I'm not sure that our consciousness necessarily ends at death. But I think it's a huge change, because I think our monkey dies. I would say that it's a monkey death, which is pretty much how we see ourselves, isn't it? As our egos, our hobbies, our passions, our skin color, our culture. Yeah, but yeah, that's all just ego-y stuff, man. Ego, monkey mind stuff, which is cool. You can have fun with, and you can have fun with your monkey. Monkeys are sexy. But it's like the very yin-yang, man, with that, for sure. I guess maybe everything's yin-yang, but but definitely monkeys. Yeah, most of the love out there is monkey love. People bonding on usually stuff they don't like. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff they don't like, so they can talk about that. They sit around, they just feed each other. Ah, so and so did this, so and so did that. We're so right, and then so you get that group kind of thing I'm talking about, and then that makes the monkey feel bigger. The monkey likes that. Big monkey. Big monkey, but it's joy, ease, and lightness. If you are not in a state of joy, ease, and lightness, then you need to take a moment and ask yourself, am I breathing? Yeah? Do that one. Am I breathing? I'm going to do it, I think for the next time I'm going to work on this thing, I'm going to do like a sleep thing, I think. Where it's, because I've been doing, sometimes if I have trouble sleeping, I try and watch these videos where they like hypnotize you or something like that, where they talk to you on the, like YouTube has a bunch of them. Probably maybe Spotify probably has some too. But yeah, so yeah, so it's, yeah, I was thinking of doing that. So I put y'all to sleep. How's that sound? Or I hypnotize. How about I try and hypnotize? I'd like to do that. I think I was trying to do that way back when I was really trying to save my marriage. I think I had a plan one time. I was gonna hypnotize my wife to love me, or something like that. But it was just too. It was too much. I think I had brain issue at that point, so I was like, I couldn't. Anyway, they didn't work out. But it's okay. You can still peace out. So this show is called Monkey Mind, and I think one of the great things you can do with your monkey mind is do some creative stuff. Make some art, and that can take in any form, near anything. You can do like the easy ones like painting or photography or but I don't know, that artistic thing I think is a weird thing. But yeah, embracing that. So what I did, one of the things I did not too long ago is I wrote a song, ironically called Monkey Mind, and we're gonna play it now. And I think we're gonna play it now. So we're playing it. We're definitely playing it. We can hear it. Hey, monkey, I want you to love me. Monkey, I wanna love you when I feel you, my monkey. You're so mean and cruel, but you're mine. Oh, I had a life-size toy, it was a monkey. When I'd squeeze it, made a cute sound. Hey, monkey, yeah, I want you to love me. Monkey, I wanna love you when I feel you.